Now, even though I demonstrated the grip in the previous video, I think it's important to go over it in more detail so that you can understand what I'm doing exactly and why I'm holding it the way I am. So I'm holding my hook between my thumb and pointer finger, just like before. It should feel kind of like a pencil, although you're not really using your middle finger. Some people hold pencils with the middle finger too, but you really only need 2 fingers to hold your hook. Now the long end of the yarn, like before, I'm going to put it between my pointer and middle finger so that it wraps around my pointer finger. Now the purpose of doing that is twofold. For one, it keeps the yarn out away from the hook so that I can maneuver it around the hook easily, and also it helps me to keep tension in the yarn. Now then I'm going to grab it with my ring and pinky finger, and that also helps keep tension. Now that again leaves my thumb and middle finger free to hold the base of the loop around the hook for pulling through later. So let me demonstrate a chain stitch using this grip. So I've got my yarn held in my left hand just so. I'm going to yarn over the hook, and then I'm going to grab on to the base of the loop and then pull through the loop using my thumb and middle finger of my left hand to keep the loop open while I pull the hook through with my right hand, just like that. And then you don't have to be holding on to the yarn with your thumb and middle finger the whole time. You can let go when you yarn over, but you want to make sure you're holding on to it when you pull through so that you can keep that loop open. So another important aspect of the grip is tension, and I've mentioned this a couple times, but I'm going to explain it a little bit now. But first, something that's kind of important to know is that in crochet, if you make a mistake or just want to take stitches out, you can just pull on the long end of your yarn and the stitches come right out. So I'm going to start back again with the slip knot. So tension is important when you're stitching because it helps you regulate your stitch size and keep your stitches from becoming too loose or too tight. So you want to keep a moderate amount of tension while you're stitching, and that's accomplished both by your forefinger and your ring and pinky as you're holding onto your yarn. Now if you keep tension too tight, which I'm going to demonstrate here, so I'm pulling really hard on my yarn with my left hand right now, you're going to end up with chain stitches that are really small, and that makes them hard to work with later because you've got to be able to stick your hook through those. So you notice that there's a stitch here, but you really can't see it because it's so small. On the other hand, if you keep tension too loose, you're going to end up with stitches that are really big and loopy and just don't look very good, like that. So the object is to keep a moderate amount of tension so that your stitches aren't too small, but they're still tight enough so that your project looks good and you can use them later on when you're stitching on top of them. And you'll get the hang of this after a while. It's just something you have to feel for yourself. So that is the importance of the grip and tension.